This podcast is being brought to you by WXAV 88.3 FM and WXAV.com. WXAV, bringing the best podcasts to you.
Hi, it's Peter Creighton from WXAV 88.3 FM in Chicago. And happy Riot Fest 2022 to each and every one of you. Riot Fest is taking place September 16th through the 18th in Douglas Park here in Chicago. And performing Friday night at 6:30 p.m. is Cloud Nothings. I recently caught up with Dylan Baldi from Cloud Nothings to discuss Riot Fest, the 10-year anniversary of Attack of Memory, and what it's like to create music via email. Here's my interview with Dylan Baldi. So next Friday, you're coming to Chicago playing Riot Fest. Cloud Nothings are playing at 6:30 on Friday night at Riot Fest. How excited are you to be coming back to Chicago and playing, one of the premier festivals in the city?
I'm excited. Yeah, I love Chicago. We have a lot of friends there. We always have. And I feel like Chicago was like one of the first places that actually liked this band. So I have a special little place in my heart for Chicago. I always go to Quimby's, I always go to Reckless Records and stuff. So
fantastic.
It's a good time.
Yeah. Which Reckless do you usually hit up, Wicker Park or Lakeview?
I think Wicker Park. I'm pretty sure. Is that the one that's across from like a barcade?
Yeah, Imperium.
Okay, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, it's so awesome. In fact, I saw a couple of weeks ago, Spin Magazine actually named that location the best record shop in the country.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great one. Yeah, it's definitely up there.
It really is. Now, after Riot Fest, Cloud Nothings, you guys are hitting the road for a very special tour. It's the 10-year anniversary of Attack on Memory. What's it like for you looking back at that album now, 10 years later, and kind of knowing, oh man, this record now is 10 years old?
It's weird, It's funny. It's just nice that anyone still cares about it, basically. The fact that we can do a tour and say like it's the 10th anniversary tour of something, that there's still people around 10 years later who care about it is, gratifying in some way. And it's also nice to be able to keep moving beyond that, though. It's nice to know and look back. We spent the last 10 years like doing a lot, since then too. And it's kind of cool to put things in perspective that way.
Yeah. It's like going right back to the beginning for you. Over the course of the pandemic, Cloud Nothings, you've been very busy. You released 2 albums. The first one is The Black Hole Understands, and then you released last year, The Shadow I Remember. How would you say, like, the pandemic and the lockdowns, how would you say that affected or did not affect the creative direction of the band?
I mean, it changed things pretty drastically, I guess, because we were kind of just on a cycle of like make a record, go on tour, make a record, go on tour, just do that over and over. Basically, we toured a lot. And once that was just sort of shut down the way it was, we just had a lot of free time that we weren't used to having. And I don't live with everybody anymore. I live in Philadelphia and they still live in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. So we just started emailing. I think a couple months went by where we were just sort of like, I don't know what's going on, so let's just wait and see what happens. And then we realized like, okay, let's just start making songs online, basically emailing your stuff back and forth. And it's not as fun to me. I'm just playing in a room with people, but it got us through the last couple of years at least.
Yeah. I was going to ask, that had been an interesting experience trying to create music and you're not in the physical space with the people.
Yeah, it's just like basically all I would end up doing is I would make like a whole song by myself and just send it to Jason, our drummer, and he would drum on top of it. And that's like what a couple of those pandemic records are, just the two of us doing it back and forth, because it's kind of hard to, I like kind of just jamming. I like sitting in a room with people and just kind of like playing and seeing what happens. That's like my favorite way to play music. And when I'm not doing that, I think, I don't know, stuff just starts to feel pretty samey to me after a while.
Yeah.
But luckily we're past that time. We can play together again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can go back on the road and you can play great festivals like Riot Fest, which is taking place here in Chicago. I have Dylan here from Cloud Nothings. They will be playing at 6:30 on Friday night. Will you be able to check out any of the other bands that are playing Riot Fest this year? And if so, who would you be excited to go and check out?
Well, yeah, we are staying the whole weekend actually, just because, and Chicago's fun, and
Yeah.
might go to all the days of the festival, but I kind of honestly, I don't even know who's playing. I'm a bad artist. I know Nine Inch Nails is playing on Sunday, and I do love Nine Inch Nails ever since I was like a little kid. So I've only seen them once, and it was also at a huge festival. It was pretty incredible. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, Trent always brings it.
He does. It's insane. Yeah, it was like really, really intense and like physical when I saw them play. You could like feel everything. It was really cool.
That's awesome. Speaking earlier of Chicago and your connection with the city and everything, you've recorded The Shadow I Remember with Steve Albini. What's it like working with him and just that huge musical connection he has with like, Nirvana and all these other just great bands and everything?
Steve's great. Yeah. I mean, it's not quite like story time with Steve when you're recording with him. He's kind of just like, he's in the zone if you're in the zone, so we're just working hard on something.
Yeah.
He's great. He's a great guy.
A couple more questions for you. When did you know that you were on the path for a musical career? Like, when did music kind of come calling to you where you're like, this is my passion. This is what I want to do with my life, with my career?
I mean, when I was like a young person, I mean, grade school and things, even, I kind of just gravitated towards, my parents were really into music. So that was like, it was in the house growing up. But I just really liked playing instruments. Basically, I just started learning how to play like everything I could. And, maybe it was I was a weird little kid. So maybe I was compensating for my weirdness by trying to be good at something else. But yeah, it was I don't know. It just kind of always seems like the thing that I've been good at, sort of like the thing I feel like I can provide something to the world with. So I've been trying to do it for a long time. Yeah.
That's awesome. And you've been doing a great job with it. Now, WXAV, we're a college radio station, and I'm just kind of curious, what are your thoughts on college radio, and how has college radio impacted the careers and the direction of Cloud Nothings?
I mean, I'm a big fan of any radio that doesn't have to adhere to any strict sort of playlists or anything, college radio in general. Most of the ones that I am aware of are pretty freeform. I like the ones that are like that. I think it's cool that you can still hear stuff like that on terrestrial radio. But I mean, well, I was going to do a college radio show, actually. I went to college for like 3 months in Cleveland, and then I slept through the final exam accidentally, and then I dropped out of college. So I didn't do a radio show, but I've always liked college radio, clearly.
That's awesome. Well, if you ever want to do a college radio show, you're always welcome to stop by XAV. We'll let you do one.
That would be great. I'll let you know.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, Dylan, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Again, Cloud Nothings are playing Riot Fest on Friday at 6:30 p.m. You do not want to miss them. Dylan, thank you so much for spending some time with me today.
Yeah, thanks for asking me.
And that was my interview with Dylan Baldi. For more information on Cloud Nothings, check out their website at cloudnothings.com. You can also see them this Friday at 6:30 p.m. at Riot Fest on the Rebel stage. For more information, check out riotfest.org. I'm Peter Creighton, and thanks for listening.
Thank you very much for listening to this WXAV 88.3 FM podcast. Be sure to visit our website, wxav.com, for more information on your escape from ordinary radio.